My name is John Sullivan. I'm a 25-year-old wildlife photographer who, until 3 weeks ago, would have laughed if you'd told me monsters exist. Now I wake up screaming every night, my sheets soaked with sweat, the memory of yellow eyes burning in my mind. I'm writing this down because I need someone to know what happened to me in the forests of Hawaii's Big Island. If I disappear, at least there will be a record. It started with an assignment from National Geographic. They wanted photos of Hawaii's endemic species for a special issue on endangered island ecosystems. I was ecstatic. My first major assignment and a paid trip to paradise. I arrived in Hilo on a Tuesday, the air thick with humidity and the scent of plumeria. My guide, Kainoa, was supposed to meet me the following morning to lead me into the forest near Volcano National Park. But when I showed up at our meeting spot, there was only a note. Family emergency. Back in 2 days. Sorry. It was unprofessional, but I was too eager to wait. I decided to scout locations myself. I rented a Jeep and drove toward the volcano, following directions to a trailhead that Kainoa had emailed earlier. The trail was unmarked, just a small break in the dense foliage. In retrospect, I should have known better than to venture alone into unfamiliar territory. But ambition makes fools of us all. The forest was unlike anything I'd experienced before. Steam vents dotted the landscape, releasing ghostly plumes that drifted between massive ohia trees. The ground was warm beneath my boots, a constant reminder of the living volcano beneath. I hiked for hours, taking test shots and marking GPS coordinates for potential return visits. As dusk approached, I realized I'd gone much farther than intended. The light was fading fast, but I thought I could make it back before total darkness. Then I heard the scream. It wasn't human, at least not entirely. It started like a man's shout of pain, but transformed mid-cry into something animalistic and raw. The sound echoed through the trees, impossible to pinpoint. I froze, camera halfway to my face, every instinct telling me to run. Instead, I moved toward it. That's what photographers do, right? We chase the shot. God, I was stupid. The steam thickened as I ventured deeper into a valley I hadn't noticed before. Visibility dropped to mere feet. The ground grew hotter and the air filled with the acrid smell of sulfur. I was sweating profusely, but not just from the heat. Fear had its claws in me. Another scream, closer this time. I raised my camera and moved forward cautiously. Through a break in the steam, I saw a clearing. In its center lay the remains of what might have been a wild pig. Something had torn it apart, not for food, but seemingly out of rage. The entrails were strewn in a pattern that almost looked deliberate. A low growl came from behind me. I turned slowly, camera still raised like some pathetic shield. There was nothing there, just steam and shadows. But I knew with absolute certainty that I was being watched. I backed away, eyes scanning the tree line. That's when I saw it, just for a second as the steam parted. A hulking silhouette, too tall to be human, too shaped to be a shadow. It stood on 2 legs, but its proportions were wrong. Elongated limbs, hunched shoulders, a head that seemed too small until I realized what I was seeing was a snout. My camera flashed automatically. In that millisecond of illumination, I caught a glimpse of matted dark fur, a gleam of teeth, and eyes that reflected the light like pools of molten gold. Then it was gone, and I was running, crashing through the undergrowth with no thought for direction. I just needed to get away. I don't know how long I ran. The forest had grown dark, and every shadow seemed to move. Eventually, I stumbled onto a road, not the one I'd driven in on, but any road meant civilization. I followed it, thumb out desperately at every passing car, but no one stopped for the wild-eyed, blood-smeared man emerging from the forest at night. Blood-smeared. I hadn't realized until I saw my reflection in a car window. There was blood on my shirt, my hands. Not mine. I wasn't injured. It must have splashed on me when I was near the pig carcass. That's what I told myself. I finally made it back to my hotel around midnight. The clerk gave me a concerned look but said nothing as I hurried to my room. I stripped, showered, and examined my camera with shaking hands. The last photo was blurred, taken while moving. But there was something there, a shape in the steam. When I enhanced it later, I could make out a vague outline that made my stomach turn. It wasn't clear enough to convince anyone else, but I knew what I'd seen. I slept poorly, dreaming of being chased through endless forests by something that called my name in a voice like grinding stones. The next morning, I convinced myself I'd overreacted. The werewolf was probably just a wild boar or a feral dog. The strange arrangement of the carcass was my imagination. The eyes reflecting gold were a trick of the light. I almost believed it. I met Kainoa as planned 2 days later. He seemed oddly distant when I mentioned where I'd been hiking. That area is kapu, forbidden, he said quietly. The old Hawaiians avoided it. They said it belonged to Kamapuaa, the pig god? I'd done some reading on Hawaiian mythology. Kainoa looked uncomfortable. Not exactly. Kamapuaa could take many forms. Pig, man, or something in between. But there are older stories from before the Polynesian settlers. Stories about things that lived in the steam vents and hunted during the new moon. I checked my phone. The new moon had been the night before. It's just superstition, Kainoa added, not meeting my eyes. But we should stick to the tourist trails. I agreed, but I couldn't stop thinking about what I'd seen. That night, I researched Hawaiian cryptids and found scattered reports of dogmen, or nightwalkers, dating back to the earliest Western contact. Most were dismissed as sightings of wild dogs or later escaped exotic pets. A few reports from the 1800s described attacks on isolated villages by beasts that walk as men with the hunger of demons. I should have left the island then. Instead, I became obsessed. Every night after working with Kainoa during the day, I would return to that area alone, setting up camera traps and motion sensors. For 5 nights, nothing happened. On the 6th night, something triggered a camera near the original clearing. The photos showed nothing but steam. But when I arrived to check the equipment, I found the camera torn from its mounting and the memory card cracked in half. Around it, the ground was marked with deep impressions, like footprints, but wrong. Too large, with what looked like claw marks at the toes. I set up more cameras, hiding them better. 2 nights later, I captured a sequence of images that still haunts me. Steam, steam, more steam. Then a massive shape lunging toward the camera. The final shot before the connection died showed a clawed hand reaching for the lens. A hand with opposable thumbs, covered in dark fur, ending in yellowed claws like curved daggers. That night, I heard something outside my hotel room. Scratching at the door, breathing, heavy and wet. Then a low whine that rose to a frustrated growl when the door didn't open. I sat in the bathtub with my hunting knife, purchased after the first encounter, until dawn, when the sounds finally stopped. The hotel staff found claw marks on my door the next morning. They blamed local dogs. I knew better. I changed hotels that day, not telling anyone where I was going. That night, it found me again. This time, I saw its shadow through the curtains, impossibly tall, moving with a jerking gait that was almost human, but fundamentally wrong. It was hunting me. I called Kainoa in a panic, but when I started explaining, he hung up. My text went unanswered. I was alone. 2 more tourists went missing that week. The official explanation was that they'd gotten lost hiking and fallen into steam vents. I wondered if they'd seen what I had seen. I decided to end this. I bought supplies, more cameras, flares, a stronger knife, a GPS locator, and returned to the Forbidden Valley. If it was hunting me anyway, I would confront it on my terms. I arrived at noon, figuring daylight would give me some advantage. The valley looked different in full light, less menacing but somehow more ancient. I could see geological features hidden before. Collapsed lava tubes, small caves formed by ancient gas bubbles, the remnants of structures that might have been shrines. I set up my equipment in a clearing with good visibility and waited. Hours passed. The sun began to set, and with the growing darkness came a familiar dread. Steam thickened as the air cooled, forming a ghostly blanket that limited visibility to a few yards. The first sign was silence. The forest birds stopped calling. The ever-present rustle of small creatures in the undergrowth ceased. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. Then came the smell, rank fur and something else, something chemical and sharp. Sulfur, but mixed with a metallic tang that reminded me of blood. Movement to my left. I spun, knife ready, but saw nothing. Another movement behind me. It was circling, staying just beyond the range of clear sight. I know you're there. My voice sounded small in the vast silence. What do you want from me? A low rumble answered. Not quite a growl, not quite a laugh. It came from everywhere and nowhere. I clutched my knife tighter, turning slowly. Steam parted momentarily, and I caught a glimpse of it, crouched on a rock outcropping 20 feet away. In the fading light, I could see it clearly for the first time. It was tall, 7 feet at least, with the basic shape of a man but the proportions of a predator. Its legs were bent backward like a dog's, ending in massive pawed feet. The torso was barrel-chested, covered in dark brown fur, matted with something black and sticky. Its arms were too long, hanging almost to the ground, ending in those terrible half-hand, half-paws I'd photographed. But its face, God, its face, somewhere between wolf and man, with a protruding snout filled with yellowed teeth too numerous to count. Its eyes were the worst part, intelligent, calculating, and filled with a hatred so ancient it stole my breath. They glowed a sulfurous yellow in the twilight. It knew I was seeing it. It wanted me to see it. It tilted its head, studying me with an almost curious expression. Then it smiled, a horrific parody of a human expression that revealed rows of teeth extending far back into its jaw. I raised my knife. It made that rumbling sound again, and I realized with shock that it was laughing at me. Then it spoke, not in words. Its throat wasn't made for human language, but somehow I understood it. The meaning pushed into my mind like an invasive thought. Photographer, you seek rare things to capture. How does it feel to be the captured one? I stumbled backward. What are you? Another laughing growl. Older than your kind's memory, younger than these islands. I am hunger and steam and shadow. Why are you hunting me? You entered my territory uninvited. You saw me. None who see me remain to speak of it. It shifted position, muscles rippling under matted fur. But you interest me. You came back, brave or foolish. Those other tourists, did you kill them? A dismissive snort. Prey, uninteresting. You set traps. You watch. You learn. Like the old kahunas who knew to leave offerings. That gave me an idea. If I leave offerings, will you let me go? Let me leave the island? It made a sound like stones grinding together. Perhaps. What offering does the photographer bring? My mind raced. What could I possibly offer this thing? Then it hit me. It had mentioned my photography. It knew what I was doing with the cameras. Knowledge, I said. I'll destroy the photos I took. I won't tell anyone about you. Your existence stays secret. The creature went still, its glowing eyes fixed on me. For a terrible moment, I thought it would lunge. Not enough, it finally growled. Secrets are kept by the dead as well as the silent. Then what? What do you want? It leaped from the rock to land just feet from me, moving faster than anything that size should. I fell backward, knife held out uselessly before me. A pact, it said, hot breath washing over my face. Your life for service. What service? My voice was a whisper. Eyes. Be my eyes in the world of men. Others come to my hunting grounds, warn them away, and each new moon, bring an offering, meat, fresh. The implication turned my stomach. I won't help you kill people. It snarled, spraying saliva that burned where it touched my skin. Not people, animals. I can hunt humans myself if hunger grows. Its mouth stretched in that terrible smile again. Choose photographer, servant, or meal. I made the deal. God help me, I agreed to its terms. What choice did I have? That was 2 weeks ago. I'm still on the island, extending my stay indefinitely. I've been back to the valley 3 times, leaving offerings of raw meat purchased from local butchers. Each time I feel it watching me, but it remains hidden. I've warned away hikers, making up stories about dangerous volcanic activity. The new moon comes again tomorrow night. It expects me in the valley with its offering. I'm writing this account now because I don't know if I'll return. Not because I think it will kill me, we have a pact, but because each time I go back, I feel less like leaving. There's something happening to me. My senses are sharper. I can smell things I shouldn't be able to smell. Hear conversations from across hotel lobbies. Food tastes wrong unless it's rare. Last night, I caught myself standing on my balcony, staring at the full moon, hands curved into claws. I think our pact involved more than words. I think it gave me something, left something inside me that's growing, changing me. If you're reading this and I've disappeared, don't look for me in the Valley of Steam and Shadows. But if you visit Hawaii, stay on the marked trails. And if you hear something moving in the mist, run. Don't look back. Don't take pictures. Some things should remain uncaptured.